Hey foodies! Welcome to another episode of Grab a Bite. My name is Gio Kawachi, and in today's episode, I'll be joined by a registered nutritionist-dietitian turned content creator who's pushing her audience to have a healthy relationship with food. Her informative, fun, and creative video contents inspire her audience to have a healthy eating habit without having to restrict or resist one's craving. She is known online as the R&D who tells us that we deserve to eat. So foodies, relax, enjoy, and grab a bite with Jo Sebastian. I'm really honored to have her here on our podcast today. So let's all welcome Ms. Jo Sebastian.
Thank you. Hold the applause. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Studio audience, clap your hands. Studio audience. So how are you? How are you?
I am good. I'm excited for this conversation. Very excited to talk food and life. How are you?
I'm great. And like I said, I'm really excited too because today we'll be talking about your content, and some of, health
Yeah.
myths that we have to debunk at least. Kasi tayong mga Pinoy, feeling ko madami tayong mga diets or fads na iniisip na could help us, but actually might be actually harmful to us, So,
My favorite topic, me.
yes. Yes, so speaking of me, let's start with you first. So, how does one become a registered nutritionist?
Okay, so in the Philippines, it's called R&D. So that's Registered Nutritionist and Dietitian. In the US, it's just RD. There's also RDN and so on. So there's different kind of like titles, but in the Philippines, it's R&D. And you would basically require a 4 to 5 BS course in
Okay.
nutrition and dietetics. And then you have to take your board exam under the PRC so that you can be a licensed or a registered nutritionist and dietitian.
Okay, so there's a board for it.
Yes, there's a board exam. I also did not know that until I graduated. I was like, get ready for your board exam. Like, oh, okay.
So after graduating, let's say you did your 4 to 5 year course, do you still have like the review time? Kasi diba yung ibang board may ganun, parang may review talaga.
There's some review time. So our board exam is like September,
September.
August, September. So if you graduate before, kasi you graduate in like May.
May.
So there's like that time. But I think they're like shifting the school year. But you do have some time, but not a lot of time.
Okay, so but you have like an exam once a year.
You mean for the board exam?
Board exam
Yeah,
once a year. And then once you pass that, do you have to take another exam like every 5 years?
No
10 years,
exams. You
renewals?
just need to do your CPD. So like just a regular professional, you have to do your continuing education, like parang those seminars and things,
okay.
so that you can renew your license.
Okay. Naririnig natin madalas nutritionist and dietitian. Are
Yes.
those the same or are they different?
In the Philippines, it's the same because it's R&D, but there's still a difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian.
Okay.
So a nutritionist is essentially just anybody who is knowledgeable in nutrition, and that can be basically anyone. If you took a course or like a certificate course, you could also be a nutritionist. Those who take their masters, not necessarily an R&D, but they can also be nutritionists. A dietitian is somebody who is licensed, and it's a more protected term, where they can now give out like diet advice or meal plans for specific conditions or goals and so on. So essentially, the extra step of like giving an actual meal plan is reserved for dietitians.
For dietitians, okay. Yes. Minsan make misconceptions regarding nutritionists, dietitians, and I would say chefs. Because
We're like all together.
yeah, I know. I mean, like parang ang iniisip nila, it's basically if you're a nutritionist or a dietitian, you're already a chef, and vice versa. If you're a chef, most likely you're a nutritionist and a dietitian. Is it required in your course to actually learn how to cook?
So we do have cooking like not necessarily lessons, but we do have classes, because the classes are focused on more on like the science of nutrition. So when you're studying kasi nutrition and dietetics, there's usually 3 main places you can go.
Oh, okay.
So number 1 is public health. So that's in the DOH or the National Nutrition Council, where your focus is more on what do you call this? Yung mandates,
Okay.
nutrition mandates. So the second one is food service. So you can be a manager, or you can also be like working in the nutrition calculations of food, and then you have your clinical, which is in the hospital.
The hospitals, yeah.
So in the food service, we learn about food management, and then we also learn about the science of cooking. So we had yung pag-standardize ng recipes,
Yes.
yung computations for costing and all of
yeah.
these things. We had that. I wouldn't say I know how to cook, but that was definitely a part of like learning. You have to know a bit about it at least.
So, kumbaga yung technical side of the nutrition part in cooking. Parang
Like how
kinda
to
is like that.
preserve nutrients
Yes,
as much as
okay.
possible. Essentially, that was our main focus.
Now, since we have a background regarding your nutritionist and dietitian stuff. So how did you become a content creator? What was your journey like? Paano nag-transition yun?
Yeah, I know. It's like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah.
But it actually started when I was 2015.
Okay.
So I came from an art school. I used to do ballet for like 10 years of my life. And that's kind of where I started to learn more about nutrition because I was so obsessed with weight loss because ballet is very, very strict and specific.
Yeah.
So I was like looking for a diet to lose weight. I was, how can I eat whatever I want and lose weight? Yun yung mga sinesearch ko. And then there was a lot of like nutrition articles. So I was like, oh, okay, there's actually very interesting topics. Of course, a lot of them were not legit or not the best, but then my interest had peaked there. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna stop dancing because I was also very stuck with like body image, disordered eating, and I'm gonna study nutrition. So that's when I did it for college. And then while I was in college, I wasn't the best student, but I also needed a creative outlet since I stopped dancing.
Yes.
That's when I started to create content, mainly beauty. So I was doing like, get ready with me, or like a quick makeup look, mga ganon, even though I sucked at makeup. I was like,
Hindi naman, parang hindi naman.
well, no,
Okay naman.
it's not so much.
Let's ask them. They'll be the judge. So guys, comment nyo kung yung content niya for makeup before. But I think now is okay naman.
Don't watch that far. So it was kind of like trying to figure out who I was, essentially. That's how my content started. And then it shifted to more fitness because at that time, you know, the BuzzFeed videos that were peaking were like a 30-day to a superhero body.
Yeah.
Mga ganon.
Yung abs, yung 30-day ab challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Since
that.
it was peaking there, I was like, maybe I should do that and maybe it will go viral. But then every time I did a challenge, I couldn't complete it because it's hard and it's unsustainable. And that's when I figured like, hey, maybe when I graduated, I decided, what if I started making nutrition focused content? And then that's when everything kind of shifted because I realized that I can actually use my my license or my
expertise,
my studies
yes,
to create content as well, and it kind of merged my two loves in a way.
Okay, so what's your process of creating your content?
Well, it depends on the video because like every video is very different. Some are very spontaneous where I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna film this. Like, why not? And then some are very much more curated. I do a lot of research I have to make sure I'm fact checking, especially if it's more nutrition focused or like a debunk video. But essentially, I'll write an outline. Depends on the video. Sometimes it's just an outline. Sometimes it's a full on script, and then I'll start filming it at home. And usually, I film at least 5 shorts in like one go.
One go, okay.
My goal kasi is to film as much as I can so that I don't have to waste my makeup. That's the biggest reason. So I'm like always changing clothes, and it's so hot now. So everything,
is.
like I have so much laundry because it's like pawis na lahat. I'm like, what's this? But anyways, so I try to film as much as I can. 5 to if kaya 10, like I'll just push it.
10 video, I mean like
Shorts.
10 shorts.
Yeah.
In one go.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Like I'm just gonna push it. Like let's just finish all of these things, and then I'll just spend the rest of the week editing.
So where do you get your topics more? Like spontaneous naman, or mostly you get it from your comments?
Both. So sometimes it's at night when I'm like about to sleep, and then usually it's the best topics that come to you when you're, diba? You're like
In the shower.
you're like,
when
oh
you
my
know
god, and then, like now I have to get up and type it. But it's usually like, or when I'm driving.
Exactly. Those are doon ka nakakaisip ng mga gandang ideas eh.
It sucks. And then sometimes you're like, no, I'll remember this. And then later you're like,
Yeah, you forget about
what? What was I thinking? So sometimes I do a voice note or like I try to voice memo my script, you know, and then I'll just like transcribe it later. But basically it's anywhere, everywhere, and then sometimes the comments.
the comments, yeah. I'm pretty sure madaming nagko-comment sa videos mo, and some of them are quite, a bit weird sometimes, or like
What's
maybe
weird?
out of the question. So that's actually my next question eh. Like, what is the weirdest question you got from your, I don't know, viewers or anyone regarding health maybe?
Okay, I can't really remember, but I think for me the most like stressful types of comments are when people comment like, "This is my weight, this is my height, this is my goal. What should I eat in a day?" And I'm just like, it's like, okay, free consultation. But then Also, because there's so much more that you have to know. Like most people think that all you need is just to see the person and then you can just give them a diet.
Yes.
But there's so much information you need to know. Socioeconomic status, what's their schedule, what's their activity, what are the stressors in their
Yeah.
life, and what are their capabilities in the kitchen. Like you have to know all of these things. And people just want or people expect that a meal plan is so easy in the sense that you just give me what to eat and then I'll do it. And then if they don't follow it, they'll just blame themselves. But
Yeah.
it's because the meal plan is not made for you.
For me, yeah.
Right. So I think that's the most stressful comments for me because I'm like,
Madaming factors that would affect it, technically, just to give you
yeah.
that,
And I don't want to be like, you can schedule a consultation with me. In that sense.
What are the common misconceptions regarding nutritionists
Okay.
na you always get to experience?
Well, one of the things that you mentioned is that like that all dietitians are good at cooking. It's like for me, I can cook a few dishes, but I am not very creative in the kitchen. So if people are gonna ask me, can you make me a recipe that's like this and this and this? And I'm just like, no, I cannot. I'm sorry. And that's kind of one of my own struggles. Like sometimes I'm eating the same thing because I don't have much like variety in my skills. So that's one of the things. People are always asking for like recipes and snacks or ideas and stuff like that. And I can only give mainly some ideas, but I don't even know if like they'll like it. So I'm like, okay. That's one. Another one is that we're only focused on weight loss.
Weight loss.
Like you can only go to a dietitian if you're trying to lose weight or if you're sick or anything like that. But dietitians also help you just build your habits, just
Yes.
overall find your health or your balance. So it's not just when I'm sick, that's when I can see a dietitian. It can also be at any point in your life. If you're just trying to learn more about yourself, build better habits, you can also go to a dietitian.
Yeah. So, kasi I think when we say dietitian, lagi nila naisip it's about losing weight nga and everything. And it's all about, oh, may sakit ako, kaya kailangan ko ng, dietitian.
Hospital.
Hospital, yeah. I think that's one of it. You're right. One of the misconceptions, and I think they're being seen not in a tama ba yung term with a positive way, I would say. Kasi like
Yeah.
when you hear dietitian or nutritionist, parang naiisip natin agad, oh, there's something wrong with me, or there's something
Yeah.
there has to be done with my health and stuff. So I
No,
guess
exactly.
that's also one of the things that you're tackling in your content,
Yeah.
having that misconceptions na at least to be much more positive in terms of attacking dietitians and nutritionists in that
In
sense.
connection with that, also people think that if you're gonna go to a dietitian, you're gonna be told what not to eat.
Yes.
Like you're just gonna be given this list of like, don't eat this, don't eat that. Like people always come to me and they're like, okay, just tell me what I can't eat. And I'm like, no, I don't do that. I actually don't like telling people what to eat either. I rather tell you how to eat.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what can I do with what I have? How do I make these food choices? Because then you become dependent on the person. But you're just like, tell me what to eat, what not to eat. And that's not the goal. The goal is that you can focus or take care of yourself and build those foundations on your own. And all I'm doing is giving you the tools. Like,
Yes.
that's the dietitian's job, basically. Science-based information is translated to everyday habits.
That's basically your content, diba? Your content is always like, you deserve to eat.
Yes.
Now, my question is, when did you started using that line? And I mean, how did you come up with that idea of not restricting, but more of adding?
Well, I started kasi in YouTube where the last thing I would say at the end of my video is stay fab, ganun, kasi very beauty.
Yeah, beauty.
And then I was like, okay, it doesn't resonate with me anymore. I have to find something else. And there's a lot of people online who would like say, food is fuel, you deserve nourishment, you deserve fuel, like that, like that. And I was like, oh, this is something that I think I need to hear more. And I think more people need to hear. So that's when I started to constantly say, nah, you always deserve to eat. And then shifting it from there. And I think that's one of the big reasons also where a lot of people kind of, well, I've had some people post of like, you always deserve to eat, yung therapist, dietitian na, ganun, ganun. Because if they think that when you say you always deserve to eat, it means not to care about your health.
Yeah.
But for me, saying you always deserve to eat is giving yourself permission to take care of yourself in whatever way you need to at the moment. And that's different for everyone. Because I've spent my life restricting, thinking I didn't deserve to eat. And I know that somebody out there thinks the same way. So when I learned that I do deserve nourishment, I do deserve fuel, that's when I started to actually take care of myself. Not from hate, but from kindness.
Okay, so.
And so that's when it kind of like started to shift for me. And then shifted also saying that at the end of my videos as well.
Some people say like I think you mentioned this in one of your videos. We're trying to do like this, let's say no rice diet.
Mm.
Let's say we're not gonna eat desserts and stuff, but we're actually more of thinking of it as a punishment to us,
Yes.
not in a way na parang to help our body basically to become better. Kaya feeling ko nagiging mahirap for Pinoys to actually do it. And
Exactly.
do you think that's one of the reasons why Pinoy see as being healthy hard or eating healthy as hard?
For sure. Like not just in the Philippines, but I think in so many places as well. Our version or our concept of health. Like for you, maybe not now, because like let's say like before, maybe
Okay.
what was your version of health?
Uh in terms of health, basically like the buff stuff. Dapat yung buff kasi
Okay.
you're always eating healthy. Like literally
Yeah.
vegetables, those type of stuff.
Rice, chicken, broccoli.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I came from an all-boys school, so technically I grew up na ganyan yung mindset na hard-boiled eggs, broccoli, chicken, and then you're going to pump your irons, and then bro, ang laki ng dome mo. May abs ka na, bro. No, literally.
Bicep,
Yeah, biceps. Like, yung bench press ka 300. Ay, actually, gano'n kami sa all-boys school. So technically, yung mga batchmates ko na nakikinig. Basically, yung mga batchmates ko na galing, batchmates ko na also, I would say, other all-boys school. Ganyan yung realization na we grew up, one of the things na yung myths, hindi ka magkakanin pero mag-skyflakes ka.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
hindi ka magkakanin, skyflakes ka lang, and then, yun. So, yun, basically,
Or
that was the idea of health for us before.
Yeah, or like bread na lang instead of
Bread, yes.
rice, diba? Where they're both carbs. Like not one is not necessarily better than the other, but then they're both carbs. And if you feel more satisfied with rice, then just go for the rice, diba? But exactly, that is what we view as health. One, salads. Two is the clean eating where kailangan lahat ng food mo walang hindi processed, but technically all food goes through a process. Like if you peel, that's already a process. So all of these versions of health that we see online are so intimidating. And even when you go to the doctor, it's like, okay, wag ka na kumain nito, ganun, ganun. So you live in fear, basically. And then what happens is everything around you, you have a heightened sensation for it. And part of our culture is rice. But now you're afraid to eat rice. So you can't hang out with your family anymore
Yeah.
because they're eating rice and you can't eat rice. So it's all connected. And I think that's really one of the biggest things that we have to shift in the idea of health, that it's not supposed to be hard. Like it's hard because health is expensive.
Yes, it
Like
is.
now,
It is.
everything's expensive. But it shouldn't be hard in the sense that you are constantly fearing
Yeah,
every single thing. Because then that's not healthy either. Stress is not healthy either.
that's true.
Diba? So it becomes a cycle.
What's your favorite Filipino food?
Oh, recently, and I just discovered sinampalukang manok.
Oh, nice.
But it's very specific to my sister's boyfriend's mom's cooking.
Wait, my sister's
Boyfriend's
boyfriend's
mom.
mom cooking.
Yeah.
Okay. Papanoorin ko yung episode na ito sa natin ko siya. My sister's boyfriend's
Yeah.
mom cooking. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Your boyfriend's sister's mom
No, my
sinampalukan.
sister's-
Ay, sorry. See? Your sister's
Boyfriend's
boyfriend's mom
mom.
sinampalukan manok.
Yeah. Because she made one and then she brought it to us. And then I tried it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Like, this is the best. And then I tried other places. It's like, it wasn't the same.
wasn't- yeah, okay.
It's like,
So it wasn't really sour. Kasi for me, sinampalukan manok needs to be really, really sour.
yeah. But it was like the right sourness, but also it was thick. And it was like,
Oh.
it was so good. And I
That sounds nice.
I ask for it all the time. I'm like, tita, baka pwede naman.
Yes, tita. So if you're listening, baka pwede rin for bite size. That's your favorite Filipino food as of the moment. But what's your like go-to Filipino food? Do you have a go-to Filipino
I
food?
think it's really just sinigang for me.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know. I think I just really like the sourness. But I used to not like soup at all. Like I was like, oh, soup. Yeah. Like that used to be me. But then I like soup now, but only in Filipino dishes or like in hot pot.
Oh, hot pot's nice.
I love hot pot.
Is, the average Pinoy meal bad
Okay.
in terms of
so
health?
That's actually a great question and a great thing that I would love to dive into so much more, because I actually have a series also on my my Instagram and my TikTok, which is like How to Filipino Your Plate.
Yes.
Like kind of showing how Filipino meals are actually quite balanced already. For example, sinigang, right? That can be pork, shrimp, what's the other thing?
Beef.
Beef or diba, it can be so many things, and it already has veggies. Somebody actually commented in my video and said like the history of Filipino food is that it had to be so flavorful so that like in a kind of parang in a tipid way. It had to be flavorful so that you could put a lot of rice because rice is cheap.
Yes.
And I think that was very interesting and like culturally how our palate has developed,
Mhm.
where you do have to have a lot of rice because your ulam is so
Yeah.
flavorful. But a big chunk of what our thoughts are unhealthy in a Filipino diet is because usually very konti lang talaga yung gulay.
Mhm.
Or maybe you did cook it with a lot more oil. Maybe we can choose a leaner cut of meat. So
Or makanin lang talaga.
yeah, so like we can actually just shift the portions, but also like the focus, where the focus is not rice and meat, but it's the veggies also. Because our veggies are like stars. Like in a lot of dishes, the veggies can be so much
On its own
more.
already. Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like if we just shifted a little bit more to that rather than, I guess, what it is now, like if we go back to the roots of what before, like parang how Filipino dishes were,
Yes.
it would be more balanced and a lot more nutrient dense. I think it's just like that aspect of it.
Mhm. But compared to other cuisines, do you think we're much more unhealthy or hindi naman?
I think it really depends kasi what dishes you're comparing. Because I think it's unfair when people say Filipino dishes are unhealthy, pero yung kino-compare nila is lechon.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, kasi may mga, I mean, online, they're saying na parang,
Yeah.
tayo kasi unhealthy pa kaya kinakain natin pares, kinakain natin chicharong bulaklak.
Yeah.
Pero i-compare mo sa French salad, parang talagang,
It's not the same.
Why?
It
Ano
can't be
wala
like
yun?
that, diba? Or like parang sushi to to sisigs. Like that's it's not the same. So I think you have to compare it to the same level of food, because even other cuisines have their higher fatty foods, higher calorie foods.
That's true.
Diba? So it's just what you're comparing it to. I think it's just unfair for the Filipino food because we have so many really delicious, really balanced meals like gising-gising, diba? Sigarilyas, love. You also have your, what do you call this? Yung mga nilaga, diba? And then my adobo can also be more balanced if you add your veggies.
Yes.
Maybe just more mindful of the sodium. So like we can make so many shifts and make it fit.
Hi, I'm Inka Bagnayet.
I'm Abby Marquez.
Hi, this is Julie.
Hi, this is Raver.
I'm Radson Flores.
Hi, I'm Makoy Dubs, and this is 8 List Slam Book.
8 List Slam Book.
8 List Slam Book.
8 List Slam Book.
8 Lists Slam Book.
Get to know more about your favorite celebrities and personalities. Head on to 8list.ph YouTube channel and tune in to Slambook.
So fun story is I used to be vegan before for like 6 years of my life.
6 years. Okay.
I used to be vegan because it's hard for weight loss lang. Everything that I've ever done before is always for weight loss. And it wasn't actually for the ethical reasons of being vegan. So I think my reasons were really just wrong.
Okay.
Because it was more to restrict myself rather than for like health or environment or anything like that. So it always felt like a restriction for me. And then recently I started to eat chicken, I started to eat cheese. Every time I would slowly add one, I'm always like, I'm never gonna eat this. I'm never gonna eat this. It's like, I'm never gonna eat beef. And then we went to Japan last year. And then my boyfriend's in-laws, brothers-in-law.
Okay, we're back at it again. Sige, later. Your boyfriend's
Ay, wait,
brothers.
he's my fiancé na pala. My fiancé's brothers-in-laws. Yeah.
Okay.
They were also in Japan at the same time. And then they treated us to A5 Wagyu.
Oh my God.
So I was like, I don't like beef. How am I gonna do this? And then I tried it. I was like, oh my God, it's so good. I was like, it's the best. And now I love beef.
That's A5.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's hard to resist.
Yeah. And I was like, oof, okay.
Especially if it's free.
I'm a beef girl. Exactly.
Especially if it's free.
My regret is I didn't eat more that time. I was like, ooh, I should have known.
I'm not sure if it's a misconception or if it's correct. It's hard to be vegan here in the Philippines. Sinasabi nila. Because of limited options. Is that true?
Well, since when I was vegan, which was maybe 5 years ago na, it was kind of hard to eat out as a vegan. That's the hard thing, because not only is a lot of restaurants limited in their vegetable options or even their tofu options, a lot of their already vegetable options are mixed with patis or like oyster sauce na they can't remove anymore. So, parang ang dami, ay, akala mo pwede, hindi pala.
Yeah.
But I think now it's easier because there are a lot more options. Like there's a lot more vegan protein options now. Slowly the rise of more like vegetable options as well. It's getting easier,
Mhm.
but it's not the easiest.
So at least it's much better compared to when you were doing it before. Kasi I think that's one of the challenges right now with people. Actually, not even vegan, yung mga vegetarian.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'll ask that later then. Kasi yung mga vegetarians nahihirapan din sila. Kasi nga,
Yeah.
I think when you eat out, you're correct. When you
Yeah.
eat out, they're very,
The sneaky ones where you're like akala mo okay na tapos biglang pag kagat mo ng lumpia, ay,
yeah.
hindi pa
And I think also minsan may hindi naman sa generalize ko, pero I think may ibang restaurants pa rin hindi pa rin nila fully nagagrasp regarding vegetarian and vegan.
Yes.
So minsan they're putting it in the menu as vegan, pero technically it's just vegetarian. Or minsan even if it's sinasabi na vegetarian, pero
Yeah.
they're using
Even
oyster sauce.
plant-based.
Yes,
Because
plant-based.
Burger King came out with their plant-based burger. But plant-based basically just means predominantly plant. So
Plant-based.
usually meron pa ring meat. But then the idea was, plant-based, it can be for vegans. But it still had cheese and mayo. So vegans
Yes.
still can't eat that.
Yeah.
Diba? So there's really, we really need more education as well and like the differences. And I think that's also something that hopefully more restaurants will prioritize, to at least put one veganable option into their menu, because that would be very, very helpful for so many people.
For a lot of people, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's the difference between vegetarian and vegan?
Okay, so vegetarian is more of an umbrella term for somebody who focuses more on like limiting animal sources. So usually when you say like full vegetarian, that's like no meat, and then sometimes no eggs, depending on the person. But that's why you have your polo vegetarian
Yes.
or pescatarian. You have the ovo lacto as well. So that would mean like they can do dairy, they can do eggs, or they can do chicken. Vegan is actually more of a lifestyle. It's not just diet related. It's basically somebody who wants to consume less animal products and also harm less animals. So sometimes even leather, silk, honey.
Yeah.
Those are also things that they would stay away from because it's an animal product. So that's kind of the difference, where vegetarian is more related to your diet,
Yes.
and then vegan is more related to your beliefs.
Beliefs
I
and
think.
lifestyle.
Yeah, your lifestyle.
Because if I'm not mistaken, parang everything there's like morally good. Dapat nila ginagawa or pinoprocess yung
Like as much as
as
possible.
much as possible, right?
Even cross-contamination, some vegans are not like, if you cook in a pan with
Mm-mm.
meat, they also wouldn't like that. So it depends also on the person. But then basically that's like the idea.
Okay, so now let's talk about food diets and trends. Now, Pinoy loves food diet and trends.
Yeah.
Mahilig tayo sa ganyan.
Yes.
Kung ano-anong trends, no rice, no salt, no sugar, whatever. So, what are your thoughts regarding, let's start first with intermittent fasting.
Okay. So intermittent fasting, for those who are not familiar, it's not necessarily a diet. It's more of an eating pattern. So you have a specific amount of hours that you're eating and then a specific hours that you are fasting. That's why it's called intermittent fasting. And then iba-iba yung windows na. Some people will do 16-8, some people will do 12-12, there's even 20-24. Ay, 24. So, iba-iba siya. When it comes to intermittent fasting, it's not necessarily bad, but you have to see if it fits for you. Because it's more of like the mental aspect as well. Unless you have, of course, specific health conditions that need you to eat regularly, like acid reflux or diabetes, that would be a contraindication. But for example, I used to do intermittent fasting because they told me, oh, you're gonna lose so much weight. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then every time I was supposed to eat at 12, 11:59, I'm already like, oh my god, I want to eat. I'm like, so stressed.
That's true.
It was so
Agree.
mentally draining for me, so it did not fit for me. So you have to see how that affects your relationship with food, how you view food, because if that starts to shift, then that is not for you.
Yeah, same. Kasi I think majority sa amin dito nag-intermittent. I did intermittent fasting for 4 years.
Oh, okay.
My window was 12 to 8. 12 to 8. Pero nag-stop na rin ako recently. Kasi nga, parang pagising mo sa umaga, like yung gutom na gutom.
Yeah.
There were times na parang gigising ka ng 5, you would work out, do your stuff, tapos by 8, gutom ka na pero hindi ka kumakain.
Bawal pa, ganun,
Bawal
diba?
pa.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I think it kind of helps. If I'm not mistaken, may mga nagsasabi. I think, I wouldn't say dietitians or pero may iba ni-recommend nila, it's a good start kasi you're really losing weight on like syempre nag-body shift ka eh.
Yeah.
Nag-shift yung body mo na parang from having this type of pattern, shinif mo. So you're basically losing weight in like the first 2 months, I guess.
That's usually because you create a calorie deficit without knowing it, essentially, because it's hard for you to probably eat the same amount at the time that you're given. But then you also have to take note, some people who do intermittent fasting end up eating more
More.
during their fasting window.
That's true.
Right? So it's really only going to help you lose weight, specifically in weight loss. It's only going to help you lose weight if it creates a calorie deficit, where now you have more controlled meals for what you need, but then you can also just create more of like a portion management or understanding of your portions to create a calorie deficit as well. Like it doesn't have to be in a specific
Window.
yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about keto. Kasi this has been big the past few
Mm.
years, especially I think the pandemic.
Mhm.
So keto, what are
Okay.
your thoughts about it?
So the ketogenic diet is a very low carbohydrate diet, and usually that's less than 50 grams of carbs. And 50 grams is like 1 cup of rice or two medium slices of bread.
Mhm.
Okay. And carbs are not bad, okay? Carbs are still energy source. But your ketogenic diet was created for children who had epilepsy because for some reason it helped yung ketones. And the idea of ketogenic diet is, so our body is primarily glucose or sugar source of energy. Because it's a very efficient source, diba?
Yeah.
When you go ketogenic and you go low fat, very low carb, what happens is your body shifts to using fats as fuel.
Yeah.
And it will use ketones as its main energy source. But that doesn't mean that burning fat equals losing fat. Meaning, yes, you're using fat as energy, but if you're still eating the same amount of calories to maintain your body weight, wala, it's just gonna kind of replace or be
Replace, yeah.
differentiate from losing fat, which will only happen with a calorie deficit. So the thing that we want to look at with a ketogenic diet is number one, sustainability.
Mhm.
Is it sustainable for you to cut out all carbohydrates from your life? Is it enjoyable for you to cut out all carbohydrates
Actually.
in your life? And then number two is the way you do it. Because sometimes you will be consuming high fat foods that are high saturated fats, which will also be not the best for your heart health or your cholesterol. And then number three, we also take a look at, sometimes people say they're doing keto, but it's actually just a high protein, low carb diet. Because once you go high protein on a
Okay.
keto diet, you're not in ketosis anymore. Because protein can be converted to glucose
To glucose.
through gluconeogenesis or to be shifted to energy. So it's not keto diet anymore as well. Ideally, a ketogenic diet would focus more on unsaturated fats. So yung mga plant oils, nuts and seeds, that would help you make sure you're still consuming unsaturated fats. But the internet doesn't really
know.
doesn't have a lot of nuance. Some videos doesn't have a lot of nuance, tells you just to eat fats, and now all you're eating is butter. Diba? So, yeah, like people really eat butter like straight up, and I'm just like, wow, that's wild. So it's not, people just do stuff for weight loss. I think that's a big thing. People willingly sacrifice their health for weight loss because they think it's gonna make you healthy. And weight loss is not the end or like the whole thing of health. Diba? There's
That's
so
true.
many more things to health. And that's kind of the biggest reasons why we don't like fad diets, is because yes, you lose weight. Go keto, you will lose weight because when you store carbs, you also store 3 to 4 grams of water for every 1 gram of carb. So if you're gonna cut out carbs, you're also gonna lose a lot of water weight.
Yes.
So exciting. Now you see it in the scale. Like, yes,
Yeah.
I lost all of this weight. Tapos kumain ka ng rice. I gained weight again. It's not really the rice. Well, technically the rice in the sense that you store water
Yeah.
as well. But it's not fat and it's not necessarily bad for your weight to fluctuate. But then that becomes the carbs are evil narrative.
What are your thoughts with, no rice diet? Mahilig yung Pinoy dyan eh.
Yes. Honestly, I don't know why yun yung pinaka naging popular na diet when rice is core. But I guess that's also why, because it's such a big part of your diet. Pag kinat out mo siya, you will lose weight.
Mhm.
But that's because you created a calorie deficit, not necessarily because of the rice being evil or a fat storer in that sense, diba? I think some of the things you have to look at if you're gonna do no rice is what ends up happening when you cut out rice.
Mhm.
One of the biggest things, we shift our carb source. So yeah, you're not eating rice, but now you're eating more bread, more pasta,
Yeah.
more sweets.
Sky flakes.
Yeah, skyflakes. Like it I mean, it's a carb source. So basically you could also have just eaten the rice and then just been more mindful of the portions,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's the biggest thing. I used to also do no rice. I was like, okay, no rice. Tapos later, gutom na ako. Like, okay, gusto ko ng cake or gusto ko ng mga candies. Not realizing it was because I wasn't eating rice that I had all of these carbohydrate cravings
Mhm.
because my body still wanted a source of like carbs.
Carbs, yeah.
Yeah.
Madaming gumagawa nito. I think sa office madaming gumagawa pero walang nagiging successful. No sweets. Is it really effective in, I would say, maybe losing weight and being healthy? Kasi madami ginagawa, kinakat talaga yung sweets. Like, oh no, hindi ako mag-cake or wala akong sweets for 2 months. Mga, is it, does it work or does it help you?
I think it will also depend on how you do it. In theory, it can help if it's a chunk of your calories already. So again, we go back to the calorie deficit. If by removing certain sweets, you now create a calorie deficit, then it will help. But you have to look at the longevity and the sustainability. Because in the weekends, nagka-crave ka ba ng soup, ng sobrang daming sweets, tapos binabawi mo na siya sa weekend, diba? So now you're looking at that. How does it affect the rest of your life as well? Because you don't have to cut it out completely. For example, no donuts for the whole week, and then you eat like a whole dozen at the end in the weekend. Or if you just ate one donut every day, then that would be like 7 donuts a week versus the 12 during the weekend. So you can spread it out and focus on nutrients to add rather than focusing on never eating sweets. Because it's not necessarily bad. Of course, we want to be mindful of our consumption, but it doesn't have to be the overall evil of removing it.
What is your favorite fast food?
Ooh, okay.
Start there.
Burger King is my favorite. Yes, I just love the chicken sandwiches. Especially the extra long chicken sandwiches, my favorite. And I also think that their nuggets are the best. And I love
Actually,
it.
that's
They
nice.
love. I also love their hash browns.
The hash browns.
bites.
So what would be a typical Burger King order for Joe?
Okay, so it's the extra long chicken sandwich with the hash bites and an apple juice.
Oh yeah, ay, apple juice is sobrang sarap.
I know.
Like the high C, that's high C, right?
I don't know. I thought it was Minute Maid. Is it not?
Oh, did
Minute
they change it already? I remember kasi growing up, high C lagi yung Burger King. But I don't know.
Maid?
They used to have grape juice, I remember.
Oh yeah.
They used to have grape juice, the apple, and then the orange.
Yeah.
And then parang nagstick na yung apple. Yeah. The apple juice is really good.
Actually, my sister told me it was Minute Maid, so bumili ako ng Minute Maid. I'm like, it's not the same. I think it is though, but there's like a different experience.
It is when you get it from Burger King cup, right? Iba. What's your comfort food?
Ooh, it changes by the depending on what's my issue. But right now, it is chocolate covered almonds. Like, it's so good.
Dark, milk, or white?
Milk.
Milk.
Yeah, I don't like dark chocolate.
I'm not a fan.
No.
Okay. Pero kasi diba yun yung parang pinaka-nutritious, no,
But yeah,
healthiest.
just because it has the least added sugar, but like, I don't want it.
If you're having chocolate, might as well enjoy it. Right?
Yeah.
Any weird food combos?
Oh, okay. So I don't know if it's weird, but I do like to have eggs with my yogurt. But I think that's not so weird.
Wait, what do you mean eggs with yogurt?
Like I'll have a scrambled egg and then I'll put yogurt on it. But I guess that's not so weird. One of my ones before was galonggong with grapes and rice.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I really like that.
Wait, so you basically have grapes,
Uh-huh.
galunggong. So it's kind of like your achara.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's not, a bit weird when you hear it, but I think that makes sense.
Yeah. I really like that.
Oh.
Remembering it now. Oof, that's my fave. Yes. What's yours? I want to hear yours.
I think I want to try that. Though. For me, weird combo, my God. Ako nag-ask, tapos wala akong weird combo na maisip, no?
They're all not weird. They're all normal.
Hindi naman. I think
To you.
well, recently, I guess I just recently tried this, like last year lang. Garlic rice and then put coffee in it. Sabi kasi hindi naman siya weird for other people kasi I think they're doing it. But if it's the first time you
And
hear
you do that in your mouth. Where you
Oh, well, kind of ish like that, pero iba. It was actually Miss Becky who introduced it to me.
Okay,
Basically,
that's
yung garlic rice, put like black coffee. Actually, not like that's literally just black coffee.
Yeah. But just that. Like, or what, do you eat anything with it?
But you eat it, you basically eat it with your eggs.
So
and-
that's your rice. Like, the rice is now a coffee rice. Coffee garlic rice.
Well, I don't like kasi putting too much of the coffee in my rice. So basically, like a tablespoon, then just
Oh,
like.
that's
What's your favorite sweet?
donuts. I'm not, like, I don't know if that wasn't obvious already. It's like, I love, love, love donuts. It started because I was watching. Have you ever, like, do you watch cheat day videos on YouTube?
Sometimes. Pero, okay, speaking of cheat day videos, nahahawa kasi ako. Nag-crave ako. Like when you watch people eating, like doing the mukbang and stuff,
Yeah.
crave ako. So, sometimes lang, once in a while.
Oh, yeah. I used to love watching cheat day videos because I was in my restriction phase at that time. So that was the only way I could like see people eat.
Oh.
And that's also what I noticed. Before I used to scroll so much for recipes because I wasn't eating. So doon ako kumakain sa mga
Yeah. So, mata, like, it's all the ice.
Yeah. And so I loved cheat day videos. And most people who do cheat day videos, they eat a whole box of donuts. I was like, that's my dream, is to eat a whole box of donuts. I did that before, and then I was like, oh my god, it's too much. Now when I have donuts in the house, it's like I can eat it, but I can also have it tomorrow. And it's like there's more mindfulness there. It doesn't have to be eat it all now because it's never gonna be there. It can be this will always be here tomorrow. How much do you want right now?
Yeah.
And then so my love for donuts came from cheat day videos.
Do you have any specific donuts?
Always the Krispy Kreme glazed,
Krispy Kreme.
the original glazed, always. Also the Krispy Kreme chocolate with the sprinkles.
Chocolate.
I love that
Okay,
one.
okay, that's
yes,
nice.
that's my favorite. Or I also love a Bavarian filled donut too. How about you?
For me, anything na yung parang may strawberry and rainbow sprinkles.
Oh, okay.
Sobrang ano ko doon. I mean, ever since I was a kid, pag nakakita ko nung parang pink, yung pink na rainbow
Yeah.
sprinkles and stuff, gusto ko yun. Definitely, yeah, the Simpsons donut, yeah.
It is a core donut.
It is. Definitely the, what do you call this, the Krispy Kreme glazed.
Mhm.
Pero kung sa Krispy Kreme, pinaka-favorite ko, which I think is really, really, really underrated, is yung ano, yung parang cake nila, the chocolate cake na parang may glazed.
Oh yeah.
I think that's really underrated.
Mhm.
Hindi siya na, ano, I mean, I
Yeah.
forgot kung anong tawag doon, but for me,
I love the
that.
vanilla one of that one.
Oh, the vanilla, yung
Yeah.
parang vanilla ice something, whatever.
Yeah.
Isa yun.
Yeah.
Sarap yun,
good
masarap.
one.
And also the, the Hershey's, the cookies and cream.
Oh, okay.
I
Great
like
choices.
I like donuts. Now, speaking of donut, let's talk about your podcast.
Okay.
Because since you're in a podcast right now, I know you have your own podcast. So, can you give us like a small summary of what the Donut Podcast is?
Okay, so the Donut Box Podcast is a podcast that talks about things we usually do not talk about. So because I love donuts, and I also used to do this mini live on Instagram called Donut Talks. It was really just about 2 episodes, but I like to focus on concepts we usually don't, like we said, donut talk about when it comes to health, body image, fitness.
Yeah.
So the restrictive diets, weight stigma, calorie counting, all of those things, we really try to dive into that in the podcast. So listen in.
So, how did you start your podcast?
Okay, so like I mentioned, I used to do the donut talks thing, and I was like, I should probably do a podcast. And actually one time I was just thinking about it, and then all of a sudden somebody emailed me and was like, hey, if you are ever thinking of doing a podcast, this is from Anima Pods. Hi, Annika. And then she was like, if you want to do a podcast, we could talk about it. I'm like, perfect, because I was just about to do that. And then that's when I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's go. So just like that.
Kanina na pag-usapan natin your process of creating
Yeah.
your content. Is it the same with the process of you creating your own podcast?
Kind of different, because I think a podcast is so much more free-flowing.
It is.
Where in my content there's so much more structure that I have to follow, and so that's where the difference lies. The podcast is so much more chill. Like I'll just throw in topics, and
yeah.
then me and my co-host will do it. My co-host is actually a doctor and a fitness or a personal trainer.
Nice.
So we kind of are like very focused in like health in that sense.
Yung mga pinag-uusapan natin dito, it's literally like the tip of the iceberg in terms of health.
Exactly.
Much more deep dive yung matututunan nyo when you listen to the Donut Box podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, later let's plug it. Okay.
Okay.
Definitely make sure na we get to plug that. Welcome to Flavors of the Region, where we take you to delicious culinary spots here in the Philippines. Tara, let's explore Tagaytay, Batangas, Bacolod, Iloilo, Pampanga, Quezon City, and Davao. Kain tayo! Catch all the episodes of Flavors of the Region on our YouTube channel, BiteSized.ph. Dream country to have a food tour.
Ooh. Okay, so I already went to Japan, and I really loved it there. But I would like to do like a full food tour if ever there's some way to do that, like every single food item. So it's Japan or Greece.
Japan or Greece? Okay.
Wait, what's yours?
Japan. Actually, Japan.
Yeah.
Definitely Japan and Taiwan. Top two.
Yeah, Taiwan is also
Taiwan,
fun.
two toys. Hopefully this year I get to hit Taiwan.
Yes,
I'm looking
yes.
forward to hitting Taiwan this year. Japan, hopefully. Japan. We might go to Japan. The company might go to Japan this year.
Go, but don't go in June or July because that's summer and it's so hot.
I think we're going there November, December.
Nice, perfect time.
So is Japanese food your favorite cuisine?
It's slowly getting up there, but my favorite is actually Greek. Cuisine. Yeah, I just love Mediterranean.
Mediterranean, yeah.
And then I think Japanese food will definitely be like my second.
What is one amazing thing about our bodies that everyone should know?
One
From a
There's
dietitian.
just too many.
From a dietitian point of view.
I think something that we should know is that for you to just stay alive, like for you to lie down and stay alive and keep your organs going, you need to fuel it. I think that's an underrated fact that people know but don't remember, because most of the time if you don't work out, you'll think, I don't need to work, I don't need to eat, I didn't work out. But no, literally just to keep you breathing, you need to eat. And that's just something that we need to remember.
Okay. So eat.
Yes.
Eat. Yeah, I think I have to agree. We really have to eat. I love to eat.
Yes.
What is your vision of success for your content? And, how do you see your content 10 years from now?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard, because I think it's so hard to know what the content world is gonna look like in the next few years as well. Like maybe it will be obsolete. I don't know. Who knows? But my goal is really to just create a community, which is something that I struggle with but hope to do. Like not just in a community in the sense of like I'm posting content, but an actual community with like community meetups and like actually eating and talking about food and like just enjoying. That is my goal that hopefully will get there one day.
I think you already have that.
I mean, we're not meeting up though, so.
So, to all the Jo Sebastian fans, let's go meet up.
Yes.
What would be the name of your meetup if ever there's going to be like an event?
I don't know, but it would probably be something like going Jonuts.
Oh, that's nice. Going Jonas sounds nice.
Yeah, I love puns and donuts.
Okay, we'll help you make that happen. So
Okay.
hopefully,
Okay,
BiteSized
sige.
can help
Let's
you
go.
create that community,
Yeah.
with this podcast too. We'll definitely help you with that. Okay, you said you wanted to have a community, but right now your content is already making impact on a lot of viewers.
Mhm.
How does it make you feel?
It definitely two things it makes me feel. Number one, it makes me feel very grateful, of course, very validated in the sense of like the message that I want to come out is coming out and reaching the right people. But it also is a lot of pressure because my imposter syndrome is there. It's like, why me? Why am I doing this? Or like, what is it about my content? And like, one day people are gonna find out that I'm like a fraud somehow. So it's definitely those two things all the time. And sometimes it's more of the imposter syndrome that comes in. But when somebody messages me and be like, thank you so much, and then that's when the validation comes back. So it's like a balance of those two.
If there is one takeaway that you'd like your audience to get from your content, what would that be?
As I always say in the end of my video, it's that you always deserve to eat. Meaning that your body literally needs fuel to survive. You need to fuel yourself and feed yourself. And it's not just about eating food, but it's also eating with intention and being kind to yourself as well. And that's the biggest thing that I hope people are getting from my videos.
Oh, definitely. That's what they're getting. I'm telling you right now. A lot of our friends outside are basically a big fan of yours, and they're getting your message. I really have to say you're really doing a great job regarding that part. Okay, so now let's move on to the last segment of our show, which is Bite, Save, Pass. All right.
Bite Save Pass.
3 items here. Just
Okay, here we go.
pick your bite, your save, or your pass. Okay. Intermittent fasting, keto, vegetarian.
Definitely pass keto. I'll bite the vegetarian and I'm gonna save the fasting.
Okay, save fasting. So, bite vegetarian, save is intermittent, and then pass on keto.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pass.
Right. Now, bite, save, pass, palabok, Pinoy spaghetti, or pancit canton.
Ooh, okay. Palabok is a pass for me.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have to save the pancit canton, and I'm going to bite the Filipino spaghetti.
Okay, nice. Good choice, good choice. Question lang, pancit canton, do you have a specific flavor that you'd like?
I'm not really a fan kasi of Pancit Canton, like the brand.
brand.
I'd rather like I like Indomie better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Me
We have our resident pancit canton guy. Pinakbet, chop suey, or ginataang gulay?
Can I pass the two?
Which one?
The first two. What do you say? Pinakbet and
Pinakbet and chop suey.
Yeah, I don't like those two.
Talaga?
Honestly, I don't really like a lot of yung ganong style.
Okay.
I prefer yung mga sinigang type of with the Filipino vegetables. So the ginataan, that will be my bite.
Okay. Good. Ballet, tennis, and weightlifting.
Ooh, okay. Oh my gosh. Ooh, okay, but definitely bite tennis. Like that's so easy. Like come on. And then I think I'll have to just save weightlifting and I'll just pass on ballet because I haven't done that in so long. So maybe one day.
Okay. One day you'll be back
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
phase. Okay. Donut, ice cream, cake.
Ooh, bite donut for sure. I think I'll save the ice cream and then I'll pass on the cake.
Asan yung cake? Next, ito, Asian cuisine. Okay, Korean, Japanese, Chinese.
Okay, we already know that the Japanese is a bite.
Okay.
I'll save the Korean and I'm just gonna pass it to Chinese.
Pass it to
Sorry.
Pizza, burger, fried chicken.
Ooh, okay. Pizza is a bite. I'm gonna save the burger, pass on the fried chicken.
Really? Pass on the fried chicken?
Well, from all of them, then I'll pass the fried chicken.
Wow, okay. Oh, medyo, hurt todo. I got hurt.
The one
The fried chicken person. So, pizza, favorite flavor.
Ooh, anything that has pineapple.
Wow,
veggies,
okay. That's interesting. When a lot of people hate it, but for Jo, the dietitian,
Oh,
it
it's
is.
some fiber. It
Yeah.
has some acid. Oh, boom.
Actually, yeah. I'm a big fan of Hawaiian pizza too. Anyway, pineapple.
It's good.
Perfect balance of sweet and salty, right?
Exactly.
Bite, save, pass. Adobo, sinigang, sisig.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, bite sinigang. Then I'm gonna have to save the sisig, and I'll pass the adobo.
Pass the adobo, okay. And that's it for us here. Thank you so much, Jo, for joining us. It was a pleasure having you in our show. Sobrang na-enjoy namin to. I hope a lot of our listeners learned a lot regarding health.
I hope so too.
And if you want more of health talks and everything, well, you could guys check out the Donut Box podcast. Okay.
Yes.
So how do you pronounce it? Donut or do not?
Well, it's donut, but then when you describe it, it's do
Do
not.
not. Yeah. So yeah, the Donut Box podcast. So do check them out. And then Jo, you could actually basically plug all your socials here.
Okay, here we go. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, also on X and Threads. It is at It's Jo Sebastian. You can also follow me on YouTube, which is also Jo Sebastian. And of course, follow the podcast, Donut Box Podcast, which you can find on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
All right, great. So thank you so much. I hope you had fun. And
Yes,
definitely had fun.
I did. And also the food a while ago that you served me. Great, amazing.
Thank you again. Basically, that's it for us here in Grab a Bite. We'll see you again on the next episode. So, guys, bye. Take care. I don't know why you do that.
Is that your...
I don't know, but that's supposed to be the cue. That's supposed to be the cue of the ending. Parang may bite siya, parang bite, but yeah.
If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to follow all our socials at BiteSized.ph para updated kayo sa new episodes namin. See you in the next episode, foodies. Bye!